Hello, everybody on YouTube, NFL YouTube prognosticators, and NFL fans everywhere. This is Andrew Warren back once again. As I promised yesterday for my conference championship picks, I'm giving you my top 10 wild card moments. I'm going to give you the playoff first section for each the top 10s, like top 10 wild card, top 10 division, top 10 conference championships, and top 10 Super Bowls. As of now, I'm doing it reason being because I have a bet because I might do a top 10 Denver Broncos of all time. So figured I get that started with the top 10 NFL wild cards out of the way before I do that. So, anyways, that's the plan I'm doing right now. So right now, first off, before I start off my top 10, big shout out to Dante Calito, I believe her name is, and known as has her own show. First Down with Dante. Check her out. She's a really good prognosticator. She does her own show every now and then. She brings guests along every now and then, And her show is pretty interesting and they talk about. So, yeah, check her out. She's a really good prognosticator. I'll put the link down below when I get this video uploaded. So, here you go. Check her out. Tell her I sent you. She's really good. So, and as of right now, and before I do my other top 10 pick, please vote for me for my NFL YouTube prognosticator for Video of the Year. I'm up for Video of the Year for the Geo Knows Award. I'll put the link down below. I need your votes. I would appreciate your votes. I'm up for a Video of the Year for my Week 8 Halloween edition. I'll put that video down below to let you know what I'm talking about. So I'll be on the lookout for that. I'm up for Video of the Year for Geo Knows Award. So please vote for me. I would appreciate that. So I appreciate your vote. So check it. I will put the link down below for the Geo Knows Award. So I'm gonna now start off with my NFL top 10 wild card game. So the reason I'm doing that one right now, I figured I get the idea for the NFL top 10 wild card just to beat NFL Network punch them right in the stomach for that. So let's see what they do. But anyways, I usually watch NFL Top 10 a lot, so it's really a good show. But I wanted to beat them to the punch for the top 10 wildcard games. So here we go. Let's start off with the top 10. Number 10. The Cleveland Browns versus the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 2002 wildcard game. Yeah. What can I say with Cleveland in this one? This takes back from the 80s. When they start off with the Oakland Raider game, though. When Red Right 88, all they had to do was kick the field goal. No, they didn't do that. Instead, they threw the ball and the Oakland Raiders picked it off. Game was history. Then, right from there, right down the line, really bad situation for Cleveland. They had the drive with John Elway and the fumble by the Broncos again. And, of course, they got the move pretty much after that. They had Bill Belichick coming in. They lose that, then they had the move. So, but anyways, this brings the new Cleveland Browns came in the picture in '99. Then they went to the playoffs with them for the first time, and then in 2002. And the story was that maybe Cleveland can try to get over the hump in the playoffs for mention, but didn't happen to be the case. They jumped up an early lead, and they 24-7, and Pittsburgh bounced back. They make it 24-14 by Tommy Maddox to Antoine Randall. Then, of course, Pittsburgh scores again, make it 24-21, and then Cleveland, I think, kick a field goal. Then Cleveland again scored to make it 33-27. They tried to go for the 2-point conversion. It failed. Then, that point on, it started melted down right there in Pittsburgh. And that's when magic happened with Pittsburgh. And they had probably like a 21-point comeback with them. And that put the nail in the biter for Cleveland, and they haven't been in the postseason since then. They've been stuck since then. They had a lot of momentum on that, so they haven't been the same team since that 2002 season anyway. So making the playoffs for the first time, so for that point, so yeah, I can't see Cleveland being a contender at this point though. After what they're doing with Johnny Manziel, so hey, well that's the history with that one. All you guys remember for that game was Tommy Maddox having a magic game, having a comeback of the ages. He needed that one-shot wonder he needed instead of not being a bust from UCLA. So, yeah. At that point on, Pittsburgh will go on to win a Super Bowl 4 years later from Super Bowl 40, while Cleveland has been going downhill since then. So that's the history on that one. And number 9, Tony Romo's bad snap from the Packers and Seahawks and the Cowboys in the 2006 wildcard game. This was a up and down kind of game, though. Like, Dallas had the lead 20-13. They gave up a safety, I believe it was. Then Seattle got the ball back, and they ended up scoring in the end zone, making 21-20. They tried to go for the 2-point conversion and failed. But this game was also boldly remembered when Dallas was going for the end. Dallas, kicking off. Well, they were kicking off to Dallas, trying to go for the game-winning field goal. That slipped away. And not just that. Not only that, when they get to the close to the line of scrimmage, I believe it's the 30-yard line or maybe the close to the end zone, trying to go for the field goal. It was a really cheap chip shot, too. They could have easily get the game and won the game. But Tony Romo got the ball, slipped it out of his hands, and tried to go for the 2-point conversion, and it automatically failed on that. And he became the GOAT for the for the Dallas Cowboys since then, and he's been pretty much choking away since Dallas on that point, though. But this is mostly remembered for Tony Romo slipping the ball out of his hands on that one. So, yeah, what can I say about Dallas at that point, though? There's no much story than that, other than that, though. All right, number 8, the Seahawks are on it again. Is Matt Hasselbeck's rant in overtime. Yes, I'll give you this one. I'll tell you why, though. This game was both remembered for two teams that going up for revenge. Mike Holmgren going for revenge on Seattle, as Green Bay was going to get revenge on Mike Holmgren. This was probably best remembered for. This was revenge up for grabs. And not only that, though, this game was a back and forth kind of game, though. I remember watching that was my teenage years, though. All I can remember in overtime was when Seattle won the coin toss, and Matt Hasselbeck said, "We want the ball, we're going to score." That's all I can basically remember for that. Other than that, Seattle was trying to go for the field, going for the game-winning touchdown, but instead, Green Bay picked it off. That sends them to the NFC divisional round with a date with the Philadelphia Eagles, and they would go on to lose from there. But this game is hardly remembered for Matt Hasselbeck's mistake in overtime, saying, "We want the ball, we're going to score." But as of this day, I don't know what they were thinking on that. But but Matt Hasselbeck, he was just saying, "Bring it, let's do it." He wanted to bring it, so he just didn't have it in that day. So he just had too much confidence in him. That's all I can tell you. Yeah. But number 7. Number 7. Favre to Sharp. No, the Lions and the Packers. Well, this game is mostly remembered for Brett Favre's first playoff victory most of the time. But this game was probably remembered when they were down by, I believe it was 21 by the field goal, and they ended up going for the game-winning drive to Sterling Sharp, though. But this was a young Brett Favre at the time. Nobody really knew what to expect out of him. So at that point, though, I thought this was going to be a really interesting ball club on that. And the Lions had Barry Sanders at the time, though. They were trying to go for they beat them handily. I think they got the division that year, too, in 93, and they were hosting the wild card game. Somebody correct me on that one. But they end up, the point was they were winning the game the whole time, and they melted away from the Detroit Lions. And Green Bay came back, and Brett Favre got his first playoff victory in 1993 against the Detroit Lions at that point. And that would vocally remember to being Favre to Sharp, though, for Sterling Sharp, though. So that game is bestly remembered. So, anyways, for that point on, though, Green Bay would end up winning a Super Bowl a few years later. The Brett Favre era kicked in from that point, and that pretty much the rest was history at that point. So, for the Green Bay Packers and Detroit Lions. As for Detroit, though, they never been the same team since 93. Barry Sanders had really good years, though, but he wasn't the same. He wasn't a good player, though, but he didn't he felt like a losing organization. Sure, he retired early in '99. So, yeah. And Detroit, Detroit were a good ball club though. They went to the playoffs a few times, but they weren't really much the same team though. In fact, they went to the playoffs in '99, and they never went to the playoffs since until 2011. So Detroit had a bad blunder for a little while. Then the Green Bay, they had Aaron Rodgers, but the rest was history at that point. So that's my number 7. Number 6, Chargers and Colts. I call that one Manning's meltdown in 2008 in San Diego. This game is boldly remembered that San Diego was controversial going in that game, being 8-8 and getting the playoffs. As my New England Patriots, the year that Tom Brady went down, and we went 11-5 and not make the playoffs. But at that point, though, San Diego, they were happy to playoffs. They were happy to be there. They were lucky to have Detroit melting, the Denver Broncos melting down in 2008. Baltimore is remembered by that. And at that point, San Diego was just happy to be there. Indianapolis was in the playoffs. They didn't win the division that year either. That belonged to Tennessee. And at that point, they were playing each other in San Diego. Indianapolis, I think they were winning the game sometime at that point, though, but by a field goal. And then San Diego tied the game and set it to overtime. Then at that point, San Diego ended up winning the ball game from there. But this game is highly remembered that San Diego was in the playoffs instead of some other better teams in the playoffs at that point. Like my New England Patriots were 11-5 and they didn't get in. So that was both really best remembered for that. But that was the year that Miami Dolphins had a turnaround organization with Bill Parcells working up in the upper staff instead of being a head coach that year. So, but that basically at that point for the San Diego, for the Chargers and the Cardinal, for the Colts, that was mostly remembered for another Peyton Manning meltdown at that point. That's about what best remembered in overtime. No, probably people seem to forget about that game, but that game was a kind of interesting ball game at that point. Nobody expected San Diego to win that game. They expected Peyton Manning to win that game, so it was a little upset victory for them. But that will conclude the first half of it. So I will give you the top 5 of it at some point. So until then, I'll see you in a few minutes, and I'll catch you later. Bye.